Hello and welcome to a Friday episode of Thaiger Bites. I'm your host, Michael Kenner. This is your co-host, Charlie. And on my left is Jay.
Hello.
So welcome to Friday. We're very excited for the weekend.
Yes.
We can't wait. I don't know what we're going to do this weekend, but it should be interesting. But anyway, this is my last day on Thaiger Bites. This is the end. This is the final hurrah. I've had my moment. It's been an interesting journey.
It's been a great 2 weeks.
Yeah. I've become the most hated man in Thailand.
Moved from the haters man to got a lot of supporters now, huh?
Yeah, well, thank you for everyone out there that's writing good comments. I brought on a real man stock again today, so Charlie's back to show like real men how you can be, more masculine. So Charlie is the way. Anyway, we're going to go straight into the comments, and we're talking about yesterday. We spoke about. We spoke about a lot actually yesterday. We spoke about the new visas coming in relation to ownership of property and land, especially for the very wealthy individuals. And there's been a lot of comments around this, so I'm just going to jump straight into this. So Bruce Beisler, sorry if I've got the pronunciation wrong. I believe the plan to allow expats to own property in Thailand will hurt the Thai people. It will increase property prices and make it less affordable for Thai people to own property. Also, if the Chinese buy everything, then the money will go to China, not the economy, as Mike said about Chinese tourists going to Chinese-owned hotels. And Bruce, I agree with you. I think that the way this needs to work is this. Let's be honest, right? So foreigners can own condos legally anyway. So there's the Condominium Act, which means that that expats or international people can own 49% of all the buildings if defined. So the prices have already gone up in relation to the core supply of inventory of housing in Bangkok, which is condominiums. So this has already happened. Yeah. I think the landed property one is an interesting one, and I spoke about foreigners owning landed property already, and people were commenting saying, well, this is Mike is saying this is illegal. I mean, the reality is that it's not illegal to own a company that owns real estate, right? The nominee shareholding is illegal, but this is something that's happened everywhere. Like any foreigner that owns a landed property in Thailand, there's only two ways to own it: either through your spouse's name or a company's name, or you're leasing the land. It would be dependent. So this is a common structure, but I think that if this is done in the right way, it won't hurt the Thai nationals, too much. It's I think it's inevitable that foreigners are coming in and buying. In condos in Bangkok, there's a huge amount of Chinese and international buyers that are buying up a lot of the condominium projects anyway. So I don't think it changes too much. I just think it allows expats who live here to actually come and retire and actually own our own houses in our own name, as opposed to putting it in a partner's name.
Yeah. Right, Mike, I'm going to go on to another comment here from a story, again, the visa from yesterday, which was addressed towards digital nomads, one of the target audience and people who will be targeted for this. The Thailand Experience says, digital nomads, or in fact anyone making YouTube videos while in Thailand, would be of interest to Thai immigration. This is classified as work if you are getting a monetary reward and requires a work permit. Well, the Thailand Experience, I understand what you're saying. It is basically illegal. So, hello, Charlie. Yes, sorry, I've been attacked by Charlie.
So I think what they're trying to do is that at the moment digital nomads don't pay any tax, which means that the Thai economy is not benefiting from their presence technically, although they're spending money in Thailand. So what it's saying is you don't have to declare your whole income outside of Thailand as a digital nomad on these new visas. But what you would need to do is declare a minimum income. It's probably going to be around 50, 100,000 baht of your income, and then pay tax on that part to say, fine, I am working in society, and the rest you probably you don't have to declare. So I think that would be exactly how the digital nomad visa works.
But Mike, is it a reward? So like the Thailand Experience is saying, is the Thai government basically rewarding these people with a work permit to just to come? I mean, it's making it legal for them to basically come here.
Yeah, which I think is fine. I think if they're contributing to the Thai economy, and which is basically tax, because let's hope, assuming no corruption exists, this has to be always the assumption, and we know that's not the case, but then the money will go back into the public system, whether it's the welfare state, whether it's new roads. At the moment, these individuals are not contributing back to Thailand. And we can say, yes, they're going out and spending money. And we agree they are acting as tourists and spending money. But if you're going to live in Thailand, you should probably be paying tax. I mean, that's a kind of a fair system. If you lived anywhere else, you would probably have to pay tax there as well. So I think what they're trying to do is say, well, we've accepted that there are a lot of digital nomads here working in Thailand, operating under some weird visa rules and having to do visa runs. We're going to try and make it easier for them. But for that, we're going to say, here's the minimum salary you need to declare within Thailand. You need to pay yourself X, and you have to pay tax on that salary. And I think that's fair, because if digital nomads are making more money than their minimum salary, they can declare it offshore, etc., etc. And so, yeah, I think it's not a bad move by the Thai government.
All right. I'll go on to another comment from the Right Honourable Street Urchin, who says, no positive comments about Henrietta yet. He's referring to Henrietta over here, our plant, I think. Maybe she needs to display more personality. The Right Honourable Street Urchin, I'd just like to say that Henrietta over here is a tough cookie, just like Charlie. You've got to break the barriers first for Henrietta to show you her personality. Right.
So Bruce Haynes goes on to talk about the visa again. The visa is a slap in the face to expats who love Thailand. It's people who are financially secure but not rich. Because if you don't fall into the rich category, they make it as difficult as possible because they really don't want expats, they just want our money. I think that's the reality of all governments. I mean, they're incentivized by, increasing the amount of inflow of money into the taxation system so they can spend. So I don't think this is any different to say what the actual requirements of going to any other country is. They will have usually minimum requirements. They want you to spend money here. So yes, listen, it is difficult. Again, it's targeted at the rich people. I think if you're going to go after any type of people, you might as well go after the rich people first, and then go after the middle class and lower class income. So hopefully this is the start of a process which allows all expats of all income streams to come and live and work in Thailand with ease. That's what we hope. Yep. I think it's just a start. And hopefully there'll be further, announcements of income streams allowing. But this is Thailand. Who knows, right?
Sure. Right. I've got a comment here from Aussie Mark, who actually has a comment for Jason, who says, hi guys and girls, I watch all your shows and love them all, but especially Tiger Bites. It's lighthearted and I get a great laugh. The only guy I'm not sure about is Jason. I think he's hiding something. Me and you both, Aussie Mark. Jason is a very mysterious man, and out of respect to him, I shall not reveal anything more because I worry for myself and my safety. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, so Jason is a mysterious guy. I actually don't know much about him either, to be honest. I mean, we sat together for 2 weeks, and I mean, is Jason is Jay even your real name? Yeah, all right.
We don't talk about Jason.
Cool. So I've got Bill C. I think Mike has misunderstood how vaccines work. It doesn't keep people from getting infected. It makes the symptoms more tolerable. And I think Bill is talking about something we mentioned yesterday about how I wanted Bangkok to open as soon as possible, and I still have that whole premises, Bill, because if you were here, I'm guessing you're not here, or maybe you are here, but if you saw the amount of poverty going on in Thailand because of this pandemic and the fact that people cannot work and they have no jobs, this is much worse than I've ever seen anywhere. And I also believe that if double vaccinated tourists come into Thailand, they themselves are protected to a certain degree. So I'm not saying they cannot get sick. I'm saying the chance of them getting sick or hospitalized are a lot less. I mean, the studies are all out there. We've all been reading. I'm not an expert by any fashion, but I've read that if you are double vaccinated with certain vaccinations, your chances of getting sick are much less. And I think that let that be for expats or tourists to decide if they if they want this type of risk profile, as opposed to just stopping it altogether. So, Bill, I understand, and I definitely don't think that vaccines stop you getting sick in this case. I understand that there's still a risk. So, thanks for the comment, Bill. Going on to Crazy for Bananas. I love your name. Thank you for your informative discussions and opinion. I'm excited about the newly approved visa. However, I'm hopeful to see a visa requirement for those who have middle to high income. I would definitely invest in Thailand. to travel often from the States. However, the requirements at the moment are slightly out of range for me. And Craig Bernardi, I understand. I mean, this isn't ideal, this kind of, this is how much money you would need to invest in Thailand. I think that we have to wait till they clarify this. If they're saying this is how much you have to invest in real estate, then as opposed to government bonds, because they've put both real estate or government bonds, well, technically, if you're coming to live here and retire, that could be your investment into a house of $500,000. Like, that still is a large amount of money. That's what, 15 million Thai baht, which I understand that the majority of people coming here probably will not have access to that type of cash, because this is definitely a cash market. It's very difficult for foreigners to get loans on real estate. So we're hoping this is the start, again, as I mentioned before, of a process that then allows other income brackets to start coming here, retiring here with ease and buying real estate.
I have a comment here from David Evans, who says, love watching Tiger Bites, but Mike's comment about Patong being a shithole is well out of order. Maybe he should visit other places rather than just Bangla Road. David, let me just address this conversation from a local perspective. So now I've lived in Phuket, especially for 20 years. In terms of my opinion and my friend's opinion, we stay away from Patong as much as possible. Now, we're well aware of the, everything that Patong has to offer. But if we want to go to a beach, there's a lot better beaches than Patong Beach. If we do want to go to party, there's actually a vibrant party scene in Phuket town rather than Patong. So from a local's perspective, personal experience, from the people that I know, we stay away from Patong as much as possible because we don't rate it as highly as all the other beautiful places in Phuket. So perhaps that was the reason Mike said that. What do you think, Mike? I mean, do you actually think that certain types of tourists are attracted to Patong and certain types of tourists are attracted to other areas?
I mean, listen, if you live in Patong, I don't want to be so negative towards, what Patong really is. But listen, I would never live there. It's just out of choice. For me, I like having a nice area with nice people. I mean, Patong is basically, it's the red light district of Phuket. It attracts a lot of party goers. So if I'm going on holiday and I was young, I'm in my 20s, 30s, maybe even older, 40s, 50s, whatever, because people like to party, go to Patong. But to live there with a load of people running around, I mean, for example, there's a lot, when the tourist season was, nothing against Australians, love Australians, but there's a lot of Aussie, 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 going down the street, or like people who think they're backpacking in Thailand, where Phuket is definitely not a backpacking destination anymore. When you're living here, do you want to be in an area like Leicester Square in the UK, or where there's huge amounts of tourists there, or do you want to be in a place where there's people, locals living there, actually having their life? Now, again, there are much better places than Patong. I'm putting it out there. I will not put Patong on the top 10 places in Phuket to visit, and that's just my perspective.
It's just, exactly. It's local perspective of people who live away from Patong. There are many people who like the vibrant lifestyle and the loud noises and all to them. That's cool. That's what they want, and they're there. It's just not for everyone else.
There are some nice places in the hills, of Patong Hills, but the reality is that yes, you can say part of it is nice, but you have to sum up the whole area and be, would you want to live in that area versus, say, an area like Sheng Tole or Laguna or Naihan or Rawai. And I would say that, I prefer the latter, always.
Most people are there just for work purposes in Patong. There's a lot of hotels there, a lot of business opportunities. So, most people there are just
anyway, each their own. So if I've offended you because you live there, I apologise. And, I actually don't.
Rightly so, Mike.
I don't apologise.
How dare you?
I do.
How dare you look down on Patong?
I don't. So fridge freezer, interesting name. I'm guessing you either live in a fridge freezer or you sell fridge freezers, either or. His comment is, her comment is, bullshit Bangkok will not be quarantine free. 8 days in an expensive hotel is not quarantine free. Pull your head out of your ass, TAT. That's the Tourism Authority of Thailand. If you think that working class people are going to piss away 8 days out of their hard-earned 21 days holiday, you are in denial. And that is not a river in Africa. I mean, lots of different capitals and, a good expression of words. I think fridge freezer, so as part of the SHA Plus program, there are hotels which we've already gone on a last debate, and we found there are 300 baht per night.
Yeah.
They go as low as 300 baht per night. So all an SHA Plus hotel is a hotel you stay in, which is basically has this recognition, and then you go and get your testing, and they're basically giving the reporting to the individuals and back to the authorities. I mean, the expensive part is the testing, but the hotels are actually the cheapest priced hotels that have ever been in Thailand for the length that I've lived here. So I do believe that as soon as Bangkok opens, and assuming people have an appetite for coming there, I believe that it's very affordable in relation to the hotel prices specifically.
Right, I've got a question here from Bumblebee who says, if people own apartments in Bangkok or throughout Thailand, can you stay home without quarantine if you're vaccinated and test negative? Bumblebee, currently no. Even if you do arrive through the sandbox, you do need to live in a SHA Plus hotel that is approved. If you were traveling to Bangkok and had an apartment, you'd have to go through the quarantine process first. So you will be able to visit your apartment. So once Bangkok is going to reopen near the end of end of October, you will be able to visit your apartment during the day. However, you will still need to be going through the process and staying at a SHA Plus hotel for at least for the first 7 days. Yes.
Cool. So PM has asked, do OnlyFans models pay tax? And I guess that's going back to the digital nomads type scenario. The reality is no, they don't pay tax. I mean, there's the majority of people living here operating as digital nomads are paying no tax in the Thailand tax system. And yes, if we're all up for tax evasion, that's great, and I'm all down for it. Should I say that? But the reality is, if I'm putting on my PC hat and being, is this good for the economy? Is this really feeding back and down to the trickle-down effect and putting the money into the right people? Of course not. So, and this also goes on to another comment by Tambourine DMB. And why is this guy saying that they want to tax digital nomads when they said earlier that money earned from a foreign company is exempt, or foreign entity? So it's on the same point. At the moment, you would have to have at the moment you're not paying any tax. You're just here on some random visa, whether it's an educational visa and you're probably not learning Thai, let's be honest, or you're on another type of visa, or a tourist visa going there now. What they're trying to do is say, okay, define a minimum salary. This is kind of what their thinking is. Define a minimum salary that you're going to declare in Thailand, and the rest you can keep for yourself. Yeah, right. And that way they're at least getting some tax income as opposed to zero. So I think your money outside of Thailand is exempt. You have to declare X amount of income in Thailand. That's what I would do if I was the policy maker of Thailand. And by the way, I'm not trying to tax all you people that live here. I'm all for it. Go guys, hide all the money. Stick under the bed. I'm just saying, if I had to be a business person, then this is what I'll be saying, guys. So I'm not hating on any digital nomads. I'm a digital nomad.
Right.
Yep.
Charlie's going to read the next question.
Okay.
Boda Zephyr says, my personal opinion is that allowing foreigners to own land in Thailand is a mistake. It will open the door to a wealthy and to buy up swaths of property. Charlie's getting too excited. It will open up the door to the wealthy to buy up swaths of property, driving up property values over what local people can afford, a la Vancouver, Auckland, etc. This will be a disaster for the average Thai. Now, Boda Safir, thank you for your personal opinion. I'm not quite sure if it will be a disaster for Thailand. It also provides an opportunity. Now, I understand a lot of people are actually afraid, and I saw a lot of comments saying that China's going to take over. This is going to bring a lot of Chinese businessmen who are just going to buy plots of land. And that is a concern for local people and for everyone. Not just Chinese people, but foreign investors will just come and take over the world, or take over Thailand, basically. Now, we have seen other countries do this, and like Boda Zafir gives an example of Vancouver and Auckland. I don't personally know about those places, but I'm pretty sure that the government will find a way to regulate this. And, Mike, what do you think? We were talking about this a little bit yesterday, that they're going to put something in line. They're going to put something in line to control something like this.
So yes, they will. They'll stop it getting out of control, like Charlie is right now. I think the reality is look. I don't think you can stop it. You look at London. How many Russians own half of London? The Chinese are there. This is the same. And I guess from your perspective, from the user perspective, you don't want Thailand to go that way. Of course not. But at the moment, we don't have a housing market. It's going through appreciation. So if direct foreign investment is causing property prices to appreciate for the majority of local Thais that own real estate in Thailand, I think there'll be a positive scenario in that sense. What we don't want to do is see a very overpriced market where Thai people cannot afford to buy property. That will be a disaster. That will be an absolute disaster. But let's look at realities and facts. It's already happened in Bangkok. If you want to live in CBD Bangkok, the condos are already $200,000-$300,000 for a very small box room modern condo. This has already happened because of the Condominium Act, which allowed foreigners to buy condos. But I agree that they should do everything they can to protect Thai nationals, to stop foreigners buying up huge amounts of inventory across Thailand. There should be limitations in place. There should be designated areas they can do, or price brackets they could do. For example, at the moment they're saying on the luxury side, so I don't think the luxury side will affect the majority of Thai nationals. But again, I think we've got to see really what the government comes out with in terms of the clear direction of their policies, and then we can really have a full debate. And that'll be interesting for maybe some of the Fazwaz guys to come on once this actually comes out, who are kind of leading in this field, to actually talk about the implications of what this kind of policy ruling will actually do.
Right, that leads me to my last comment. Bruce Haynes, who says that visa is a slap in the face to expats who love Thailand. It's people and are financially secure but not rich. Basically, if you don't fall into the rich category, they make it as difficult as possible because they really don't want expats, just arm money. A lot of people actually do have this viewpoint of they just want expats here for the money. But then, Bruce, thank you for the comment firstly, but you're coming to Thailand for a reason. Your own personal reason, for your own benefit, for your own enjoyment. So why can't the Thai government try to attract people for their benefit? Might as well, right? I mean...
I mean, I agree. I mean, Bruce, if you're, for example, you're married to a Thai spouse or partner, they could say, well, you're just coming for Thai women. I mean, you could reverse it, in different ways. Or you're just coming to take their beaches, Imagine how the Thailand feels in relation to having so many tourists coming into their country. I mean, the reality is they probably feel quite good about it. I mean, there's lots of income coming in, but there's also an X amount that actually probably abusing the system. And I think now I live in Thailand as an expat, I think it should become more regulated, to make sure that, this underclass of society, which is still a very developing, emerging market country, can help and make the country prosper in the best fashion. I think that would be best for the Thai people. I've got a lot of Thai friends, I've got a lot of Thai employees, and I think that somehow there has to be a solution. I mean, I don't think that I have a solution. I haven't really thought about it too much, but if you're top of my head, I'm like, there has to be a way where we can stop poverty within Thailand and encourage, the lower class to become out of a more middle class society and improve living standards across the country as a whole. I think the only way to do that is distribution of wealth from wealthy individuals downwards.
Bruce, in particular to your comment, I understand your frustration. Perhaps it's coming from the fact that why are they not targeting other categories? And we actually did discuss this a little bit in yesterday's Good Morning Thailand. So you can check that out. However, I understand the frustration. However, if you're not interested in this, then I would just suggest maybe this visa is not for you. And hopefully in the future, they do target other categories of expats, backpackers, people who can afford it. So good point there. Thank you for the comment.
And we'll put all the visa information. I mean, if you go to the Thaiger homepage, the thaiger.com, which is the website, there is a visa section on the homepage, which will put all the information about all the visas as they come available. So we can be fully transparent in relation to what visas are available for individuals coming in. Because the truth is, there's a wide range of visas available, which I didn't even know existed when I was actually checking the information. So check out the thaiger.com. There is a lot of information there. So my last comment of the day is in relation to a user called, his name is quite insulting, I would guess. I don't know if he's being sarcastic but his name is All Amazing Achievements Are From White People. So you can imagine what type of person this is. And he's not saying anything that bad. He's just he's very critical of myself currently on. So he said, Mike should really stay off the air because every time he opens his mouth, it equates to disinformation. He claims the Thai government wants foreign investors to buy government bonds in order to strengthen the baht. Not true. They want to support the worthiness of debt, considering the fragile state of the Thai bank system, but the government actually wants a weak Thai baht since export trade accounts for a large portion of Thai GDP. Yes, the Thai government wants a weak baht, but not too weak. But the amount of foreigners who will buy Thai government bonds isn't going to alter after exchange rate one bit. Hey, Mike, I'm retired Wall Street executive and a world-class analyst. So take some advice, kid, right?
Everyone's an experienced in something. Or he's been to Wall Street. We must listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, dude, listen, just being straight up with you, I mean, your name of all, this name you've got, all amazing achievements are from white people, is just ludicrous. I wouldn't imagine that you were, retired. So this has gone on. There's been an interesting conversation where it's like, so my background, I used to work for Credit Suisse and Barclays Capital. You can check that out. It's very transparent on LinkedIn. In fixed income as a government bond, on the government bond trading desk. So like, I do have experience in this, but then people like this are like, I'm a world-class analyst. It's like, dude, where did you work? It's like, I worked at Goldman Sachs, and dude, you didn't. Yeah, you don't want to put your name out here. Right? If you want to debate and actually be critical and say, okay, I'm a world-class analyst, I'm a world-class investment banker, just put your name so we can validate it. Everyone's a hero on here, sitting behind some random name, but the reality is you know who I am, my name, my face, my background, it's all in the public domain. I can't hide away from this. I'm not coming on here and giving you disinformation out of choice, unless I actually am mistaken. But the reality is, until you come out with your credentials, which I don't think you will, because I think, you're scared, right? But when you do, come back and we can have a conversation about, we'll bring you on the show if you're a world-class analyst. I think world-class is, going world-class is like at the very pinnacle of your career. So you should definitely come on once you give us your name.
Yeah, I think calling him world class would be a bit of a stretch. I think just by his name and his handle, it would be enough to show what kind of
I don't know. I don't know if
is.
Goldman Sachs will be employing anyone who has names like this. I think that's probably why you can't give us your name, because you'll probably be ashamed that you've done this. But it's cool. You haven't been that critical of me. You're just saying I'm spreading disinformation. The reality is I spoke about not just a weak Thai baht. I spoke about also how they want to strengthen the ability to buy government debt, which is basically you didn't listen to what I was saying and just went off your rhetoric. And that would be my last comment of the day.
Yeah.
So just for the users, I mean, all amazing achievements are from white people. Number one, change your name. Yeah. I mean, God, really? Yeah. What are you in the KKK? Let's be reality. I mean, whatever. Anyway, the second is thank you so much for even commenting, because we do appreciate it, whether it's bad or good. I mean, I only joke around in relation to a lot of the comments I give back. Basically you have to give it as much as you can take it in this world, right? So if you come on, you write stuff and you can't take a bit of criticism back, then basically you should just sit in your bed and have a little tearful cry, because it's only fun. This part here, me and Jay really enjoy this part of the show where we come out and really, have fun with our users.
Yeah, it's all about basically just, letting you have a chance and letting us have a chance to communicate with you, to talk to you, to share with you our viewpoints in a relaxed atmosphere. We've got Charlie running around here, and if you are once again interested in our news shows, you can go to our news channels. This Thaiger Bites is just a relaxed atmosphere where we get to communicate with you, and I'd like to thank all the people who have been very supportive and who do enjoy this segment. Mike has been here for the last 2 weeks. Today is his last day. Hopefully we will bring him back again. So make some noise and we will bring back Mike. Hashtag bring back Mike.
So firstly, thank you so much to everyone. I mean, the negative people especially, thank you, because at least I have something to talk about as well, and I appreciate any interaction anyone's given me. The positive people as well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. So thank you to all the audience for giving us the time to come on here. I've really enjoyed it for 2 weeks. I didn't even think I could do this as a reality. I run the businesses, so Thaiger is within my portfolio of companies along with Fazwaz. So listen, let's not pretend Fazwaz and Thaiger and a lot of other companies are in the same company, which I lead. So for anyone who's looking for clarification on that, that's why we bring up these companies. But thank you so much. And I look forward to watching the show progress and over time. And thanks to Jay. Jay's done an amazing job.
Thank you.
Awesome. So.
Right, I guess that's it for today's Thaiger Bites episode. I'd like to thank Charlie. Charlie, look at the camera.
Charlie.
This is the most important part. We need subscribers.
Yeah, subscribe. Charlie. Charlie, give him some food.
Never work with animals. That's what they say.
Come here, Charlie. Oh, he's coming. Come on. No.
No,
he's not
okay,
coming.
he's not coming.
Doesn't
Right.
care.
Thank you, Mike, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you to Jason behind the buttons, and we hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. We will see you next Monday with a brand new Thaiger Bites. As for us, this is goodbye and have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.
See you.